Okay, so what I said there is, last time I was misinterpreting it. It wasn't telling me about the top. There isn't anything. It was telling me about the front. So, what do we got? Now, the other thing is there was not much in the way of, like, foliage. Wait. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. I am just a giant idiot. No, let's grab it first. I might well forget to grab it if I don't grab it to start. Oh wait, I'm going to the wrong thing. I'm trying to go to the wrong thing, I guess. Here we go. That didn't look super familiar, but that's that's fine. Given the knowledge that I have done all of the puzzles here, aside from the gate one. But also, it's been a few days, and my brain has forgotten.
The wheel turns, but without the road, it cannot move.
Oh, we have one fire, but we have 6 stars. All this time I had thought that the stars were what the things needed. It appears that I was possibly mistaken. Interesting. Which one are you? 5. Okay. So that means that we are probably a ways away from the little gate by any means. I've not talked to anybody in a bit, but I'm not real... We only have one that's viable here. Oh, for whatever reason I didn't... I'm just blind. Actually, this is the first time we've had a big old plateau like this. Oh. Well, I guess we can't. No, we can. I don't think it's actually the best angle that I've gotten to see anything, though.
When the craftsman Daedalus was imprisoned in the very labyrinth he had created, his only solace was his son, Icarus. To escape their plight, he fashioned wings of feathers and wax. He warned his son to fly neither too high nor too low, but his son, enraptured by the freedom of flight, flew too close to the sun. Thus the wax in his wings melted, and he fell to his death. What was the sun's error?
I mean, traditionally, it's hubris. I am rather tempted to say idiocy. I mean, in truth, it's more one of carelessness, but come on.
The greatest fool is he who cannot tell the words of a story apart from their meaning. After the death of his son, Daedalus withdrew in sorrow to a foreign land. King Minos came looking for the craftsman to exact his revenge. The answer to a riddle revealed where Daedalus dwelled, but for Minos, that answer was his ruin. Consider King Minos burned in his bath as you seek your own answer.
The megastructure, it's opening.
3 receivers, 3 towers, 3 beams, as we suspected. I think this is an invitation.
Doesn't look that inviting to me.
If you consider the size of the entire structure, then that opening must be big enough to drive a building through.
Or the VTOL.
You want us to go in there, into the creepy triangular maw of death?
Maw of death? I think it looks charming.
Byron's right. We're here to explore, and this is a mystery worth investigating. This technology could change everything.
Oh, all right. I'm not winning this, am I?
Nope.
Nope. Let's meet up at the VTOL, everybody. We're going in.
Meet all at the VTOL. Oh, this one actually rules. I guess that answers that one. I know it wouldn't be viable for a game.
By the way, I finished my analysis of the particle clouds. At first I thought they might be some kind of nanotechnology, but I was wrong. It's a lot worse than that. What we're looking at is a completely unknown type and state of matter. Completely inexplicable within our understanding of physics. Created and manipulated by someone.
Fascinating.
So what I was going to say there is I do kind of wish that those tunnels could be like fully mapped out and you could get the full however long it takes to drive through them experience, but I realize that wouldn't be viable for a video game. That wouldn't be fun for most players, and 90% of players, if not more, would just skip them. I am that asshole that would not. At least once.
Come on, people. Get on board. We haven't got all day. Yakut?
Aye, aye, sir.
Have any of you ever read an ancient writer called Ian Banks?
Ugh.
It's not. He postulated the concept of the outside context problem. That's when a society encounters something so advanced, so different, that they simply could not have conceived of it. That's what this is. This whole place is one giant outside context problem. And we're headed right into it.
Please, Melville, I just ate. I don't want to think about Ian Banks.
I think I can set down over there. Should I?
Please do. I can't wait to get a closer look.
Or most sci-fi writers, for that matter.
Setting down.
Okay, everyone. We need to explore as much as we can, separately if need be, but stay in touch. Record anything interesting you find, and pay special attention to any clues as to who built this place and why.
The schematics we found in that lab were extremely incomplete. So if you can find any more of those, that would be great.
I think someone should stay at the VTOL just in case.
I volunteer you. See you later, Al.
So the real question, are these X's or H's? Or neither? I mean, any one of them is viable, but... I know I'm skipping stuff, but... And let's check the area I just jumped through. Yeah, I missed nothing. That's a lot of cables.
Isn't this an incredible space? Look at it all, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's good, that's excellent. I find that a lot of people these days can't see the beauty in things created by human hand. They can look at an ant colony or a coral reef and be impressed, but if it was made by humans, they just don't see it. It's good to be humble as an individual, but we have to be careful not to lose track of our accomplishments as a species. If we're impressed by the complex patterns produced by animals, then this should be breathtaking.
I mean, it depends. Because, of course, this is... What? I think somebody has some occlusion set a bit too high. This is very pretty, but if, say, you have a absolute hatred of brutalism, then a lot of this is going to come off as very unappealing. I think that's the actual way forward. We also want to check out where Melville is, because that has a terminal. Chernyshevsky. On Loyalty, from Arkady Chernyshevsky's Inner Likeness. Essays on Humankind Reaching Adulthood. What I propose, then, is that we are not born as entirely free agents responsible only for ourselves. The very core of what we are, our sentience, separates us from and elevates us above the animal kingdom. As I have argued, this is not a matter of arrogance, but of responsibility. However, this blessing also demands something else from us, something more personal than responsibility, and that is loyalty. Our ancestors, less atomized than we are, experienced a crude version of this loyalty, swearing allegiance to tribes, races, nations, and other semi-fictional concepts. This fragmented understanding was easily exploited and led to many conflicts. We can condemn them for that, or we can choose to believe that these were necessary historical steps toward our growth. But above all, we must stop indulging in such childlike behavior. Our species can no longer afford to believe in Mother Russia or Uncle Sam. Neither, however, can we afford to indulge in the adolescent rebel's misanthropy, rejecting the many gifts we have been lucky enough to receive. Not from above, but from the history of our species. You know, it's funny. I know I'm like 90% sure it's misanthropy, but no, not in. I will never remember that in line. To put it simply, each of us owes a burden of loyalty to humanity itself, to the human project across time and space. This is not a minor matter or some abstract issue for philosophers. It is a profound and significant part of every human life. It is a universal source of meaning and insight that can bind us together and set us on a path for a brighter future. It's also a division, a line that must... I guess it's supposed to be held. A line that must hold against those who preach the gospel of self-annihilation. We ignore it at our own peril. Chernyshevsky, like Drennan, stood by this belief to the bitter end. Without him, the archive would not exist, as we owe humanity our loyalty. So we owe a more personal debt to those individuals who gave everything for our story to continue. Okay, so we got several of the figures we have met here. Huh.
This thing seems to be broken.
Why do I have this weird
Hold on
impression?
a second, 1K. I think I can find an override for that door.
Maybe after that, you can help me with this elevator?
One problem at a time. What's going on with these fast structures? Okay, door should be opening. Now, about the elevator.
Actually, the elevator's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No idea where I am, but it's working.
Don't go too far. Try to circle back.
On it.
I realize I probably should be taking things a little bit slow. For the sake of the encoder, if nothing else. But, we're open? Or is that not sky? I guess there's nothing stating that it needs to be sky up there.
Hey, 1K, can we talk for a second? That whole thing with the elevator just gave me the creeps.
Sure. So,
When we first arrived here, I was really excited. It's such a huge place. The technology is so advanced. If we figure out what it all means, we could really change the future of New Jerusalem. The mayor says we have to avoid repeating the mistakes our ancestors made, to stay humble, to not reach too far. And that sounds very abstract, but I've seen the ancient cities. I've seen how much they built, how much they grew, how far they fell. So I've been thinking, what if all this sets us on the same path? What if this is too much power for anyone to control?
a good question. But I think that it's both too early to tell, and the whole power isn't necessarily good or bad. But I think it's more, honestly, it's too early
Fair
to tell.
enough. Maybe I shouldn't worry so much before we know more. Thanks for talking to me, 1K. I know we're in the middle of something, but I kind of needed that.
Hey! Another big old butt plug. Ah, we got more puzzles. More puzzles.
Looks like another set of puzzles.
Puzzles.
Same pattern, 1 gate, 3 receivers.
Puzzles.
Like some sort of fractal symmetry.
Oh. But... Huh. Okay.
I keep getting locked out of parts of the system. I think I've tracked down some more schematics, though. Let's see. This might do something. Or not.
Oh, need to actually connect that. Okay. I mean, one of the great things about the straight block is that it has absolute symmetry. Well, let's do this one so that we can kind of more easily see where the hell we're going with it. Okay. That, it was a bit spooky. I mean, I should have figured, but I had actually entirely forgotten what the connecting pieces were. What do we got here? A big old beam. What do we do with it? Oh.
Good job, 1K.
One Kronk has successfully pulled the lever. And it wasn't even the wrong one.
This is madness. Even the walls are bursting with power.
Mm-hmm. I know some of it is probably seeming a bit kind of like I'm looking very detailed into things that are obvious. I assure you, the intent is genuine. Okay. So this doesn't change anything. What I need to do then set that there and put the reverser on the blue. No, I had the right idea. Ah. And this will give us red. It's really weird to me that like 90% of the time
Well done.
a click works in place of hitting E, and then there's like a very small number where it just doesn't for reasons
I wonder
that
how far down this goes.
don't fully make sense to me. Driller is still probably the source of my stupidest clips so far. Where's... oh.
The gate's open. 1K if you want to. Go ahead. I'll finish up scanning this.
Okay. I do like that apparently one of the little pathways is unnecessary. Oh wait, no, several of them are. I'm not gonna stand by that. May as well connect them all. Feels like you kinda need to step on that last one for it to actually acknowledge. I guess I was up a little bit. It's reasonable to ascertain that it's the same on both sides, but yeah. So we got a terminal. And what for all the world looks like a boss arena? God, a boss fight in Talos would be amazing. I have a question from Miranda. I was doing some reading while the last trial was running, and I came across something I don't understand. There are a lot of references to ancient humans feeling that science is boring. To me, everything we're studying is mind-bendingly incredible, whether it's quark-gluon deconfinement or neutrino-antineutrino oscillations, or even something incredibly basic like the properties of light. I understand why our ancestors cared about art, why a beautifully crafted story or poem was moving to them. But how could they not see that everything that surrounds us is just as incredible? Studying science is like studying the most incredible machine ever created, a machine designed to build worlds and tell stories. How could they not see that? I'm sure there's a good explanation, but I don't get it. Well, there's a variety of reasons. I love these 255% downloads.
What are you thinking about, Mother?
The Talos principle. You see, it has two applications. One is to the self. It means facing the truth even if it frightens us. Understanding that living beings are machines and we can't afford to lie to ourselves. But that's just the beginning. The second application is to the world. This one seems easier at first. It's less difficult to understand that the universe is a machine, governed by laws.
So we and the universe are the same.
No, and that's the crucial part. We are conscious. Consciousness is rare, unlikely, but it's also the foundation of everything else. Without us, there can be no meaning. Without someone to perceive it, the beauty of the universe is pointless. But that shouldn't make us arrogant. No, in fact, it means we carry a tremendous responsibility. We are the light of the cosmos, and if we go out, there will be nothing but a cold, dark machine.
Okay, so I'll leave my thoughts for a sec.
Athena.
The founder was here?
She could still be here. What if this is why she left, to build all this? We have to look for her.
I'm reading some pretty big energy spikes. I think we better scramble.
But she could be right here, right behind the next door. I could turn around a corner and walk right into her.
If she's really here, she'll still be here when we come back. But right now, safety needs to come first. Let's go, Byron.
You're... Oh. Damn you, but you're right. Heading back.
So I know Athena's design is probably meant to be to show that she is, her design was more primitive or earlier or whatever, but I kept looking at the feet there because why the fuck does she have heels?
Was that really the founder?
I think so.
It was her. For years, I've wondered what happened to her, why she left, where she went, why she didn't tell me.
If the answers are here, I promise you we'll find them. We just have to be careful. Follow protocol.
I still can't believe the founder built this place. Has she been here the whole time?
We don't know that she actually built it. All we know for sure is that she was here at some point.
Of course she built this. Who else would have the kind of vision necessary to accomplish something like this? The question is why? And why like this? Why recreate all these aspects of the simulation? What is she trying to tell us?
It does seem like it might be a test. I can't imagine any other explanation. But why is it so broken? Or does it just appear to be broken so that we have to learn how to fix it? I hate this.
Well, I know one thing for sure. Everyone in New Jerusalem is gonna go absolutely nuts.
So what I was getting at there is Byron's a simp. Lord of the Files. Read 30 texts on terminals. Ugh. Ulysses, excerpt. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rest unburnished, not to shine in use. As though to breathe were life, life piled on life, were all too little, and of one to me. Little remains, but every hour is saved. From that eternal silence something more, a bringer of new things, and violet were some 3 suns to store and hoard myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star, beyond the utmost bound of human thought.
right, take us back to base camp, Yakut.
Yes, sir. I'm getting some new readings. Looks like 2 of the northern sites are lighting up.
I think that may have been me. I suspect the puzzles are somehow tied to the transport system. Like we're supposed to solve them in a particular order.
I didn't think me smacking my desk would be that loud.
All right, everyone. Our main objective is getting back into the megastructure. 1K, I want you on puzzles. You seem to have a knack for them. But the rest of us can't neglect our secondary objectives of studying this island and understanding this technology.
Oh, and I don't want... I don't want my earlier comments to make it sound like I dislike Ian Banks or the culture stuff. I think it's fine sci-fi. It's more that thinking about sci-fi gets me thinking about how terrible so many fucking sci-fi authors are as far as people goes.
You should be headed towards an island off the northern coast. The terrain's pretty rough, so be careful.
The island has another island. How here?
What?
Oh no. This is on an SSD, but I didn't put it on my fast SSD. Maybe I should have. Ready. Also, it's a small thing. I really like whenever games do stuff that, you know, lets you know, hey, the glass you're seeing this through isn't perfectly clean. No, we don't appear to get, out. Do we? Do we get outside numbers? I don't know. It's a question I don't think I'll be able to answer. Okay, so I was just blind.
What the?
This is kind of neat. But I do have a question. If you're a player of this game and you're not questioning the same thing, okay. So, my thing there was, does it matter which body we take? And the answer is no. They are the same. Huh? Huh? Oh, yeah, because we used an elevator to get up here. I'm dumb as shit. I'd literally already forgotten that. Some of these puzzles are neat.
Any further insights on the particle clouds, Melville?
To be honest with you, Byron, I feel like a caveman trying to study Bose-Einstein condensate. I'm seeing unknown particles whose every property violates the laws of physics, apparently capable of being controlled and recombined into just about anything. It's ridiculous.
Maybe someone in New Jerusalem can figure it out.
Sure, just give them another 1,000 years.
For whatever reason, I had assumed that the puzzle would require both open, when it does not.
1K. I've been watching you solve these puzzles, and this body replication tech is incredible. It just casually blows up the very foundations of our society.
You're right. It's revolutionary.
You can say that again.
You're right.
Making
It's
even
revolutionary.
just one of us is bloody hard. We're not like toasters. You don't just weld together a couple of wires and a motherboard and call it a day. Not to mention how hard it is to even find some of the materials. And this thing just, poof, new human.
Goal was stopping 1,000, wasn't it?
It was. Or was it? And even if it was, sorry to be heretical, but does it matter? If we can figure out how this works, we can finally, easily create more people. We can grow. We can expand. We can build a real civilization. Isn't that worth pursuing?
Maybe there are legitimate reasons to limit the population.
The mayor seems to think so. But why? What are the actual reasons?
We risk upsetting the balance of nature, as our ancestors did.
What balance? The balance of nature is just a snapshot of an arbitrary point in time. The planet changes constantly. causing extinctions left and right. Ice ages come and go. The oxygen level fluctuates. The oceans rise and fall. The only reason our ancestors believed in this balance is because their bloody lifespans were so short.
What about the risk of civilization if there's so many of us that we damage the planet?
But there's no correlation between the amount of people and changes to the ecosphere. Not unless we're talking a population of trillions. There's nothing mystical about this. No ifs and maybes. I've run the maths. It's how we use our resources, not how many of us there are.
More of us there are, the more likely we are to use our resources badly.
I suppose you might be right. Human history is certainly a mixed bag. Well, I'll think about it. You go solve puzzles.
Alright, I'll get back to work.
This body replication technology is proof of just how vital this expedition is. We may not know how it works and what its limitations are, but the technology itself isn't even what really matters. What matters is to expand our imagination, to realize that other futures are possible. And 1K, just think about this. If we had stopped making new citizens, you wouldn't be here. And isn't it wonderful to exist? Simply to be in this world? Consciousness is a gift.
I got no idea where the hell that one went. Just because it kind of shot off and I wasn't sure if where it was going was safe. That's fine. I got the achievement for the first one. Hmm. Ah, I see. Do I, in fact, not see? And we can't crouch. Hmm. Um. Okay. You know, sure.
I'm glad to see all those overloads haven't damaged your logic circuits.
And Cornelius, from the personal reminiscences of Mitku. There are some people whose true importance you just don't notice at first. People who quietly hold things together without making a big deal of it. But Cornelius was, always by Athena's side. He calmly and carefully helped us all stay on track, reminding us of our shared humanity and the values that had brought us this far. I cannot imagine how painful it must have been when Athena left him behind. When he went on his so-called research expedition, most people thought he went looking for her. To be honest, I thought he might never come back, and I was surprised when he finally did. I still don't understand how she could leave him. They seemed to love each other so deeply. After he returned, Cornelius was different. He founded the Museum of the Simulation and very rarely left its premises. The archive scholars doted on him, but he walled himself off, becoming almost as much of a recluse as Eustathius. And only then did I slowly understand how much the city had lost. Blake 5358. God appears and God is light to those poor souls who dwell in night. But does a human form display to those who dwell in realms of day? The Prime Mover, excerpted from Considerations by Eustathius. While it's hard from our vantage point to fully believe in any of the ancient religions, I must admit that I've come to believe in the existence of a Prime Mover. Not a designer as such, certainly not an interventionist god, but some force that set the universe into motion. I don't know if it's possible for us to ever truly understand this being, since it must by definition exist outside our understanding of reality. But I do believe that it exists. Does it look upon us with love? Are we entertainment, perhaps? Does it preserve some memory of us when we die? All of this I cannot answer, but I do not disbelieve those who honestly speak of having experienced some manner of brief communion with this entity. It's simply too common an experience in human history to easily discount. As the motion of the universe proceeds from the Big Bang, so whatever force animates us, whatever constitutes the true foundation of consciousness, proceeds from the Prime Mover. What do you think about this, Mother? I don't believe in any kind of Prime Mover, but I thought you should read it because Eustathius is an intelligent person, and he came to this conclusion after a great deal of thought. It's important to respectfully consider points of view we don't agree with. Oh, I clicked on the same one I just was on. Modernity, from the Book of Annotated... Oh, this is gonna be bad. From the Book of Annotated Internet Comments by Eustathius. If modernity is so great, why isn't there a modernity too? If modernity is so great, why is everyone so fundamentally disappointed with the world? Why do we sigh with pleasure at the sight of old houses but feel nothing but depressed and alienated by skyscrapers? Why do we yearn for lush forests and wide plains, not narrow canyons between buildings? If we love all this technology so much, why is our idea of happiness to get away from it? Could it be that progress is just a story we tell ourselves to justify why we allow ourselves to be dominated by inhumanity, and older forms of living still have something to offer? It seems that many of us share this desire to immerse ourselves in nature. Though we are ourselves entirely technological beings, We enjoy and value the Earth's diverse and unpredictable biosphere. But does that mean that progress is just a narrative, as this ancient commenter suggests? Or does it mean that technological progression and a love of the natural world are not, in fact, mutually exclusive? And yet, if this person was left on his own somewhere in the wilderness, he would feel nothing but terror. The appreciation of nature is rooted in the experience of civilization, of safety. True, but he's so right. So much of what our ancestors created in their last years was alienating to the majority of people. And the question isn't one of modernity, but of control. Let's actually go hit up that one down below. While we're at it, I can, Oh, I guess there's also 4. I can run back up and check and see if, It did not, so wherever it went, it went. Hmm. Okay, that's what I was thinking would happen. Are there any spots where we can... really use these for anything? I mean, that's kind of the weird thing, is that it really seems like we should be able to pick that up. But none of these spots really seem like we actually have the ability to go up on them. Aside from those, which are all at about the same level. Okay. Let's see if doing 5 helps us. I love shit like that. No, or at least if it did give me any information, I'm not, understanding it. Let's go around a little bit, see if there's anything that makes any sort of sense. All of those are roughly the same level. Correspondingly, all of these, which only jut out a little bit, are all roughly the same level. Wait. Okay, so I can't... Oh, but I can just jump up here. fuck. This one was considerably more fucked up. Find my sprite and follow it until it leads you back to me.
We cannot return to the past, but the future can redeem all that has happened.
So, you know, part of me feels like the first one was really the only one I'm going to have a serious shot of. Having gotten that first Chivo on. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Now, is there any way once we get this? I don't think there is. Hmm. Oh, that was weird. I'm being dumb. This is probably not surprising to anybody, but I was being incredibly thick.
I can't imagine imagine spending years in such a desolate place. For what? Science? Enlightenment? I'd much rather be back home in New Jerusalem.
I think it's beautiful in its own way. But I don't understand how our ancestors could survive here. They were so fragile. Imagine getting stuck out here in the cold. I wonder if there are wolves.
It's kind of a miracle biological humans lasted as long as they did.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, every time they say New Jerusalem, I think they're gonna say New Jersey. I know that's not what they're not gonna say, but...
If we believe that life is inherently valuable, if we think that other species are worth preserving, and we recognize that most of the universe is barren, then it follows that we have a duty not only to defend life, but to spread it. If life is the most valuable thing in the universe, then perhaps, in a sense, the cosmos itself is depending on us to do this. Like birds carrying seeds to uninhabited islands. Maybe that's our role in the galactic ecology.
It also strikes me that I was being a giant idiot there. There's a fucking gate right. Oh wait, let's move past both. It's somewhere. Did I? Oh, I stepped too far forward. Okay, I see the, what, Sphinx puzzle? What do we got here? Is this going to be a delta or a gate? Gate. let's check that out in a little bit. I want to see what, I think it's Puzzle 7's up here, and, okay. But there's nothing... Am I... Huh? Ah, yes. The answer to the question is, am I blind? Is yes. Hmm.
Elohim must be very proud of you, 1K.
I didn't realize that I did an optional one. Even though there was an odd number of, puzzles, solutions, whatever. Oh. Oh god, I hope it's asking us for what I hope it's asking. So, what I think it might be asking, we got a C? We got an A. We got a motherfucking cat. But I'm not 100% certain. These structures are just so impressive. I don't understand what possible function the structure could have, but pretty impressive. Hold on, could that be its function? Just to be impressive? The founder appeared to have developed technology that prints new bodies using those particle clouds we're already familiar with. These bodies come with a protocol for instantly transferring the user's mind. I cannot sufficiently underline how mad this is. The implications would be breathtaking if we breathed. There seem to be a number of safeguards. So far, I've not been able to get this tech to work outside of the puzzles. I did manage to sort of make sense of the mind transfer protocol, however, and I'm uploading all the data I've collected. It will need to be studied extensively before it can be used, but I think I can think of a lot of potential applications. What really grinds my gears, though, is how casually it's all deployed. It takes us ages to make a new body, and here there's a whole bunch of them doing no more than holding up platforms or standing on pressure plates. Is this all a joke? From the degree to which vegetation seems to have spread, I would guess the megastructure has been abandoned for a while. Although the combination of moisture and heat does create an ideal environment for plant growth, what makes it harder to be sure is that some plants have clearly been placed for decorative purposes. So a lot what we're seeing may have spread from there rather than coming in from the outside. It's surprisingly beautiful, but also kind of creepy. Imagine an ant trying to make sense of a nuclear power plant, an armadillo trying to explain disco music. You get my drift. These particle clouds contradict every known law of physics. What's really shocking here isn't that we're seeing new and powerful technology. It's what this implies about our grasp of physics. A lot of what we thought we knew must be wrong or incomplete on some fundamental level. A humbling realization, and I don't like it. Taking a reference photo in case I want to figure this one out later. Cat. Please keep discussion of the alleged presence of the founder at the site of the megastructure confined to this thread. I'm still in shock. I wasn't even sure the founder was still alive. Of course she is, and now that we've reached completion day, she has sent us her sacred messengers. It'd still be aliens pretending to be the founder. It's not aliens. And if Prometheus and Pandora are her sacred messengers, why has one apparently chained the other? The day of her return is imminent. So now you agree that Byron was right to want an expedition? In fact, it was the founder's will all along, and when you said it would be wrong to even consider going to the island, you were acting against the founder. Your word games aren't going to help you when the founder returns, Aurinia. It was wonderful to hear Athena's voice again, but with all the emotional intent inherent in this matter, we should be careful not to get swept away. We don't really understand anything yet. I can't help but wonder if Miranda's her daughter. Was Athena trying to start a new civilization? Did she abandon New Jerusalem? She was always a leader. Maybe she just wanted to experience something private. A valid point. She had enormous responsibilities from the very beginning, and while we were a family, she had too many burdens to ever have a private life of her own. I understand your point, but why leave Cornelius behind then? That is none of our business. Fair enough. Oh. I always get surprised when I get some electrical interference, and I always get surprised by the fact that what that means is I have set my phone on my left side, and I'm an idiot. The technology discovered by the expedition changes everything. Every argument about how hard it is to get access to the resources necessary to create more of us goes out the window. We can create more people. 1K doesn't have to be last, and it would be easy. Are we really going to give up just because of the goal? Energy doesn't come from nowhere. We have no idea what the real cost behind this technology. Besides, the goal is an ideal, not just a limit we ran into by accident. It's the will of the founder. Yeah, right. It's not necessary to share a personal belief in the founder to understand the value of this goal. It's clear to all but the most radical that humanity needs limits for its own sake and for the sake of the planet. You say that as if it was self-evident. It's not. You're smuggling a whole host of misanthropic ideas into the conversation under the idea under the disguise of reasonableness. Your premises are completely rotten. I believe the results of human history speak for themselves, and I find it shocking that anyone would disagree with something so obvious. Shocking that anyone would value human beings and thinking that maybe our ancestors could have solved their problems using their brains instead of preaching misery for all. That maybe there is some fucking point in blaming other factors beyond technology and growth. Like, I don't know, people in positions of authority preaching their self-important bullshit morality instead of trying to solve other people's problems. Authority? I'm just an academic. That's completely disingenuous, and you know it. Your clique has the mayor's air. Here. Clique, I assure you there's no such thing. This conversation is getting out of hand. If you can't behave, I'm shutting this thread down. The conversation is irritating, but should be allowed as a matter of principle. Sorry to have irritated you, 1K, but thank you for speaking up. New Jerusalem is a democracy, and without free speech, democracy is a sham. A lovely sentiment, but you should try moderating the forum and see what it's like. If every conversation is allowed to explode, instability is guaranteed. We have to set reasonable limits on behavior. Thread closed. 1K, my name's Helga. Doge, our friend in common, thinks it might be fun for us to chat. What is this all about? I like to connect with people with the imagination to see the world without insisting it fit inside whatever boxes they hold inside their heads. The powers that be in New Jerusalem tend to think they know how things ought to be. They set themselves these intractable goals and take them so seriously they forget to enjoy what comes of them. I just want everyone to enjoy themselves. I'm not sure how I can help. Every time I catch a glimpse of truth, it looks a little different. I can't see your face, but I sense you're full of questions. Have at it. Who are you? If I were a book, there'd be a shopkeeper on the front cover. You should drop by when you're next in town. We've gotten some exciting new stock. Where are you? In the heart of the city. Not much footfall right now, so I'm taking a moment to enjoy Chansey's gardens. Why are you? Straight to the big questions, huh? I knew I was going to like you. Why are you? Why is anything? Why? You know how when you zoom into something you always find its opposite? Curved lines become single points. You see colors and hear sounds, but when you really look, it's all just ones and zeros. And just when you think you've got it, you zoom into the binary and find there's fractions in between. That's why. Two poles, the same one thing, doing a dance just because they can. I only want to know what you want with me. I have this sneaking suspicion your expedition will bring great change to New Jerusalem. I just want you to approach it with an open mind and a kind heart, and regale me with stories of adventure when you come home. It all sounds like such fun, and whatever you choose to do, it's going to put the wind up some people back home. That sounds fun too. I make a point of never telling anyone how to live their lives, but I will make one request. Please don't share what I've told you with the city just yet. I have to consider my business's reputation, and people are such better customers when they think that they know what you're selling. So, what do you think? Are we going to be friends? Yeah. Yes, let's. How sweet. Well, usually there's a bit more of a ceremony, nothing fancy, just some rituals where you eat a live bat and then vibrate some cat guts. The precise frequency of the gate to the ninth dimension, but that will have to wait until you're next in the city. In the meantime, welcome to the Coven. Wait, is this some kind of secret society? That makes things sound terribly organized, but they're really just organized terribly, if at all. No, it's not a secret society. It's just that society contains people who know secrets. Is there a secret handshake? No, but I can give you a randomly generated code phrase if you like. Majestic dashing hamsters. Ah, this is the good old staple horse. Are there others? Of course. Everyone in the city is a member of the Coven in some way or the other. Most of them don't even realize it, but everyone knows a few words of magic. Are there rules? Only if it helps, dear. Don't get me wrong, some patterns of behavior work more reliably than others, but I know better than to try to write them down. Thank you. Let's stay in touch. Okay. So I think that's our T. I really wish I could get an overhead map of this. Well. Wait, I'm not even clicked onto the right, bouncing over the right thing. Oh. Stretching my hand just a little bit. Yeah, we've already done one of them, so I guess we're not going to get a what's it called? One of the laser puzzles where we have to connect a laser to something. Guess I need to set that a little bit lower. Okay. Hmm. I feel like there's not a good way to get... I'm being dumb. I am being incredibly dumb. This doesn't matter. So if we could... I think this one will work. Ugh. Okay. Hmm. That's gonna keep that open regardless. Hmm. Hmm. So we need this to be able to go back and... I wonder if this one's a red herring. I think the actual answer is what I was doing before and then became convinced was the wrong answer. Where I go through like this. And I didn't see this before I fucked around with things. So... Oh no, because the... But wait, it doesn't matter. We're already through. This was the issue. I was sitting there thinking, oh, I need to connect it. And the reality is, no. No, the connection doesn't matter. And I was... I don't know. I wasn't thinking everything through. Which I know, difficult to imagine me not thinking the results of my actions through. Okay, so we got a red. Which we can use to get our buddy out. Now both are free. Oh. Good thing I'm not, you know, completely blind. Just mostly. Okay. But I need to actually be thinking, and that's that is a big ask at times. Really? Well, shit. I think the low fence, was making me think this was going to be easier than it actually is. Okay. And of course the problem with that is it's not gonna stay centered up. So we can't easily get it over. Oh. The shit? I guess it's just because it's a little bit taller. But one thing we can do I don't know how well this will work. The answer is, I guess that's the solution. It doesn't feel good. You know. Say la vie. We do still have the lab, which is right here. This one looks a little different than the priors. Oh, that is great. From Quentin. From Quentin to Athena. Dear founder, I never got to know you. People tell all these stories about you and I don't know what to believe. Some people say to ask Cornelius, others say Cornelius is too blinded by grief. Some say Byron stands for the truth, and others say he's a fanatic and a radical, and we should listen to the mayor. There doesn't seem to be a way of getting a straight answer. Why did you abandon us to the chaos? Why can't you just come back and sort it out? If you're reading these messages, don't you care? From Radam to Athena. Dear Founder, thank you for everything you did for us. I'm grateful for the life that I have. It did not exist without you. I hope, wherever you are now, you're at peace. Ah, more of the Noma project. Version 12 successfully deployed. New labs established to avoid interference. First successful duplication of advanced machinery. Data collection and analysis. Groping in the dark. But not the loot kind. Trial 1309. But QFT fails to account for this 474 must rerun trials. 1212 through 1294. Maybe God was just trying to make an apple pie from scratch. Oh, not a 250% download. 255.
This looks like it has something to do with energy generation. Am I reading this right?
More choked off servers. From Belzeron. To Athena. O great and sacred founder, I believe I have discovered the truth that our so-called leaders have hidden from us. This absurd and sacrilegious goal they have us working towards, this hubristic completion day foolishness, was never your true intent. Even this abomination of a city that calls itself New Jerusalem is a deception. Why would you want us to return to the sinful ways of our ancestors, strangling the living soil with steel and concrete? No, it was when you and the first companions lived humbly among the splendors of Gaia, having no need for all this wasteful ostentation inherited from our weak and decadent ancestors, but you showed us the true path. After all, why would the progenitor have given us such hardy bodies if she had intended for us to live in unearned luxury? From the very first, we were built to be free from pride and material excess. Your teachings have been obscured and perverted by ideologues, worst of all by the traitor Byron, who was once like a son to you. But you should know that there are still those of us who remember the truth and await the blessed day of your return, when surely justice will be meted out and humanity will finally return to its intended path. Oh great, a rapture nut job. Fuck Belzerzan. The shutdown. We assembled on the vast green lawn outside as the reactors began to slowly wind down. The workers were solemn. Activists who had fought against the decommissioning seemed crushed. There was supposed to be a speech, but the spokeswoman had lost her notes. Outside, the protesters cheered. My eyes were drawn to the discarded anti-shutdown banners, endlessly reciting the facts. The statistics on mortality per trillion kilowatt, lowest of all energy sources. The lifespan of a reactor, 70 more years in our case. Minimal land footprint, almost zero emissions, no intermittency. It became a jumble of words, a litany, almost a kind of glossolalia. As far as the protesters outside were concerned, it might as well be in an alien tongue. One thing was clear to them, and that was enough. The technology inside this compound was deeply, inherently wrong. It was a sin. I couldn't help but think of that moment on August 6, 1945, when the sky erupted above Shima Hospital. My imagination could never fully encompass it. How do you imagine more than 70,000 people annihilated in an instant? An ancestor of mine was in that hospital. He went from being a doctor, a husband, a father, a pacifist stuck in a terrible war, to being a pile of bleached bones covered in rubble, all in a single second. Not by accident, but because of a choice someone made, not because of a reactor, but because of a bomb. Just 2 days earlier, contradicting his campaign promises, the Prime Minister had suggested the use of tactical nuclear weapons would be an acceptable risk if conflict continued. Very few seemed to find this particularly shocking or outrageous. They were afraid of reactors, but not of bombs. spokeswoman gave up on finding her notes. It was starting to rain. People were walking away. She grabbed the microphone. By the time you regret this, it'll be too late, she said. But honestly, I don't know if I care anymore. Maybe you have it coming. The spokeswoman sounds so bitter. The protesters didn't mean any harm. From their perspective, they were doing good. People always think they're doing good when they get collectively outraged. That doesn't make them right. Collective action can change the world when it's deliberate and based in reason, but it also can become a mental trap or societal pressure valve. From? We don't know. 5358 to Miranda. As you continue reading, there's a useful concept I would like you to keep in mind. The thought-terminating cliché. This is a type of phrase, often a slogan or a saying, which sounds meaningful, but it's really intended to make you stop thinking. To pick an example from our history, someone in the simulation might say things like, "It's the will of Elohim," or "It serves the process." And that would be that, case closed. Who knows how many iterations never advanced further, because they just stopped thinking at that point. Do note, however, that a thought-terminating cliché is not the same as a lie. It may very well contain elements of truth, but those elements are used to keep you from questioning a whole set of assumptions that come with it, which may be partially or totally false. This often takes the form of appealing to something you care about. We must protect X, where X is a nation, a philosophy, a public order, or even the planet itself. But while you may agree with that element, all kinds of assumptions may be included about how to protect something, or who to protect it from, what the end goal of protecting it is. If you stop there just because you agree with a surface-level statement, the results may be the opposite of everything you wanted, like those who chose to serve Elohim and in so doing prevented him from achieving his true purpose. Oh, hey, there wasn't... Oh, I guess, yeah, because we already have access to number 2. As I just run into... Jesus Christ, that's right. As I just run into wall after wall. Okay, so let's assume for a second that we have the right idea here. Well, where do we go with that idea? I don't know. It's not really abundantly clear to me what it's asking.
As we continue exploring the cold northern reaches of the island, the contrast between the harshness of this place and the softness of New Jerusalem becomes more and more pronounced. There is a kind of madness in what we are doing, going to a place that is so hostile to our existence. That does not mean there is nothing to love here. There is, in fact, a great beauty, but it is a hateful beauty. A beauty you can only love because there are places that are not like this. And yet, it is precisely this hateful beauty that the people of New Jerusalem fail to see, and so cannot understand their own blessings.
Okay, so it's past the foremost point. So I think it was up there. I just, still didn't see it. And it'll be on the northern edge. So it could be back where this was. That may have been the intent. Okay. Which helps me to understand that I have missed the others. Absolutely. Okay, so let's continue going to the opposite direction. What? Huh? What? I am... To say I was merely confused would be an understatement. Let's go check out what the fuck these buildings are, as well as what these lights are trying to tell us. Okay, so there's something. That's not entirely a surprise given the beacons trying to bring us over here, but...
It's an old saying about how, in the end, the sea will claim everything. I have no doubt that this is true. In the long history of the human species, entire regions have disappeared under the waves. Places like Beringia and Doggerland still echo in our cultural memories. But we shouldn't forget that life began in the sea. We are the children of the sea. And it's not through floods and ruin that the sea will claim everything, but through us.
Chernyshevsky 11. On the past, from Arkady Chernyshevsky's In Our Likeness Essays on Humankind Reaching Adulthood. Alarming frequency, our mythological narratives conceptualize our separation from nature as a fall, a punishment for sinning and a loss of innocence, a decline from the Golden Age. We believe that a better state of humanity is possible, but insist that this state must be in the past. And yet our historical experience has been the exact opposite. For all the horrors of modern war, and they are considerable, relatively few people today have to suffer the unspeakable agonies that our ancestors went through on a daily basis. It's doubly ironic that we place our golden ages in the past, but very rarely ever consider what life was actually like for the people whose genes we carry. How cold they were, how hungry, how frightened of the cruelty of nature. What unspeakable pains they must have experienced when they were sick or injured. How many of their children they had to lose, unable to help, begging the heavens for mercy, never receiving an answer. The past is a slowly receding tidal wave of grief. The battle for human emancipation is not yet won, and the path has been far from straightforward. And yet in but a few thousand years we have eliminated a great deal of suffering that before must have seemed unavoidable and eternal. Some still suffer, their lives held ransom by politics and economics. But at least now we know that a better world is truly possible, and it lies in the future. Hypatia's Journals 4. From Hypatia's Journals to Volume 1, The Founding of New Jerusalem. Day 132. We had a bit of an incident today, nothing major, but it still woke us all up. Soon was away from the camp, alone, even though we had agreed that we should always go in teams, and she encountered a group of the herbivores that we saw on the first day. Cows, they're called. Apparently our ancestors kept them as livestock. Eustathius says they squeezed them for liquid, but I find that hard to believe. But I digress. Soon encountered a herd, and just as predicted, the animals were passive at first, friendly even. Soon decided to abandon her survey to study them for a while, which went well until a group of wolves, formerly dogs, a type of pet, entered the clearing, causing a stampede. Soon is all right, only minor scratches to the bodywork and a few torn wires. But it was a close call. I guess we'd gotten a little complacent, a little too comfortable. We'll have to be more careful from now on.
Now I have to talk science fiction for a bit because I love science fiction, but it drives me nuts. There's this cliche that shows up over and over, and every time someone uses it, everyone pretends it's really profound. It goes something like this. A scientist invents something good, but, oh no, it's actually really bad. You could have something that makes your life better, but no, you can't. How dare you even want it? That's hubris. That's playing God. And it's never anything that reflects the real world, right? It's never, oh no, you invented a vaccine for cervical cancer. Oh no, you invented a new class of antibiotics. Oh no, you cured malaria. How dare you? Those diseased mosquitoes are way more important than human lives. How did science fiction become so reactionary? You know, if we all thought this way, you guys wouldn't even exist. At least Alex agrees with me. She has good taste.
I think that started to happen when a lot of the science fiction went from being written by there's no nice sounding way for me to put this. When it went from being written by the fringes of society to being written by those who represent the largest portions. When it went from being written by LGBT fucking people to cisheads. That is when science fiction went to shit. That's not to say that cisheads are universally bad at making it. So it feels like this is where the T should be, but it might actually be down there. Because at the end of the day, science fiction is escapism. It also strikes me that I don't know... Oh, okay. Wait, does that mean that the one over there wasn't solved? Because I don't remember if it said that. We'll see. This one's gonna be somewhere over here. If I can't find it quickly, I am going to stand up and stretch for a minute, though.
I wonder what it was like when the ancients were still here. Their world seems so lively.
Not always in a good way. Interesting times are great to read about, but rarely great to experience.
That's true. But they left behind so much art and philosophy and religion, and so many strange stories. Is New Jerusalem like that?
It was, in the beginning.
Okay. How can we... Okay, no. I'm not sure if we'd have been able to get back up from there anyway. Although... That almost feels like the right solution, just I'm not getting whatever it wants from me. So what I'm thinking here is that feels like it's right in between them, possibly on the backside in between them, as I was trying to say. Let's check this first. Since we can... Oh, this feels like where it should be. Really? Huh. Man, I was sure about that. I would have absolutely figured that I had the right thing. Well, let's try getting back up there, because I think that might be the right area, but the wrong... I may have been going about it the wrong way. Ah. Did I check on the actual right? Well, that's as far right as I can get from the backside. So. Okay, so we managed to get up here. What? What? Okay. The answer to is that the right part is pretty definitive no at this point. Okay, well then. Let me think about this. Was it actually on the backside of this? Because, you know, I never did look. What is it? It's A, right? Angry. At myself, really, but angry. I don't know. I was so sure it was on the top. I was so sure. I do like how almost universally, I think actually universally, I have not found a single one of the things that, well, at least the Sphinx, the laser one, I have been brought to where it needs to go by virtue of seeing.
If the fool persisted in his foolishness, would he become wise?
The laser part. Also, you know, I've not seen the, That's because I'm dumb. Ooh. Ah, so that is also telling us something interesting. We need to have done all of the mega sculpture stuff. Further interesting. I do like how some of this bullshit is actually probably extending the game considerably from what it would be if I was just, you know, not making an ass of myself. Ooh. What do we got over here, if anything? Okay, so that's just the other way up. But it's still very pretty. Except that don't work. So that doesn't work because that throws out into the wall. That doesn't work because it's too long. This does work, as for that matter does this. It just depends on which spot we really want. I think we might want actually this one. Though it looks like I am actually wrong here. I think we want this here, and then to make this give us as much room as possible. I forgot about how fucked up this one was. Sphinx.
For tricking the gods to help humankind, Prometheus was punished by being bound to a rock, there to be eternally tormented. The chains that held him were forged by Hephaestus, blacksmith to the gods. Was Hephaestus right to allow his art to be used in this fashion?
Hephaestus only forged the change. It was chains.
And is Hephaestus therefore absolved of the responsibilities of the creator?
The individual morality of Hephaestus is a distraction from the unjust laws decreed by the gods.
Interesting.
Is holding. Solve the puzzles, enter the tower, speak to an entity, turn on the beam. It's like she's appealing to our past, reminding us of where we came from, but changing enough elements to make us view our history through a different lens. Or maybe I'm completely missing the point. I don't know.
You might have something there.
I read about this in a book. It's called defamiliarization.
Yakut? I think I'm actually impressed.
Me too. Yakut read a book? I like the picture. Also, I'm pretty happy with having gotten everything but literally any of the flames.
You're on your way to an island. Yes, another island. Sorry, Melville. Well, it actually used to be a valley between the mountains, but it's mostly flooded now. That probably happened long before the founder came here, though.
Another legacy of our ancestors.
Do me a favor, will you? Look for another one of the Founder's labs. We can't get back into the megastructure without getting to the third site in the north, but I need more information to make more fixes.
I do like how as time has gone on in the expedition, everybody's become friendlier. I mean, Byron and Yakut were already friendly, but Melville's become considerably more conversational. Likely because she doesn't have to deal with Yakut's cat, but... Well, damn, showing me the Sphinx titties right off the... Fuck. Oh, hey, golden. I always like seeing these, even if we can't get into them. They always look so neat. And I'm always so curious about what they're gonna be. When I inevitably fail to get some part of them. Also, I do like how apparently Melville or somebody else... Which one is that? Alcatraz has like a tricorder. Do we? Fuck no. Ah, okay. I need to be smarter than the damn things. Which I know, big ass.
In the beginning, before we built New Jerusalem, we used to explore just like this. Small groups setting out for the horizon, looking for resources, trying to make sense of the world we'd been thrust into, trying to find a way forward. It was a hard time, but I can't deny that it was also exciting. I think it's part of our nature to be wanderers. Our ancestors crossed entire oceans on flimsy wooden boats, just to see what else there was.
Is it weird to feel nostalgic for a time I never experienced?
No.
I just think I could have contributed so much more back then.
It's not weird, but it wasn't all sunshine. People died. Yemo, Calvin, Isaac.
I know, Al. They were family to me.
Sorry. Didn't mean to reopen old wounds.
It's a legitimate point, but I don't think it invalidates the sense of wonder we felt. That's what kept us going.
What did that do? Who the fuck knows? Wait. I have no idea where the fuck we are. I think this is... Give me a sec, where is... I don't think it's this one, but it might be. Oh no, that's... It might be. I think it's on that little thing though. Not sure how to get there. Yeah, because we're gonna die here. No, that's too far. It's interesting that it doesn't just do a rewind the way the simulation had. I suppose ultimately the end result is the same as it was in Talos Principle, but wait. Okay, no. I am being... Am I being done? I had an idea and then I lost it. So, like... There's this. That only gives me... What happens if I'm hitting all three? Okay, I'm still getting green. I feel like there's something inherent in this that I'm just missing. Now, ultimately, this doesn't work because we can't use this to do this. We can. I am dumb as shit. I had forgotten about how the RGB converter works. My brain was sitting there going, that's a sprite, and then I realized, no, that's the blue molecule crap. Okay, so we can grab a box. I'm not entirely sure. We can get it charged with blue, but I'm not seeing a way to charge it with red. Did that even work? No. Ah, but we can't remove these fans. Meaning I don't know if I can charge it with blue. Oh, wait. I'm being a dingus. Yeah. There are very, very large areas for it to... kind of slot into
There's
for...
so much history here that we can't see. The founder must have walked these paths hundreds of times, maybe thousands. Miranda must have stood right where we're standing. This all looks alien to us, but it must have been familiar to them.
If this was their home, where are they now?
They must be inside the megastructure, waiting for us to pass the test. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Or they got killed by something. There's lots of things that make sense, unfortunately.
One of the most foolish illusions that commonly persist is that nature is a victim and humanity is a perpetrator. This can only be the opinion of someone who has not witnessed nature at first hand, who has not seen its immense and awe-inspiring baseness. Nature is mindless chaos and eternal conflict. A system of predation and consumption whose perfect cruelty can only induce a terrified and unwilling admiration. Nature is our most powerful and least honorable enemy. A beast that consumed every last one of our ancestors and will consume us just as quickly if we are not successful in our struggle with it.
Okay. I think the blue one might be able to. Ah. Hmm. Hmm. Oh. For whatever reason, I was thinking this one just needed the... But it needs both on just this side now. Okay. misunderstood exactly what it was asking for me and tried to make it too complex. Or maybe I'm just getting tired. It's certainly possible. I think this puzzle's going to be our last one, at least for the evening. Which is good because it seems like it's a big one. Okay, so everything seems to want red aside from the one blue. Which is real annoying. Does that actually help me to get in there? It does. Do I care about blue in any way, shape, or form from this point? I don't think I do. I could have sworn I could see it. Oh yeah, this. Otherwise it's what, like this, that point. Which I don't think I can get to. Easily. Okay. So that wall comes out too far. And we can't do anything with this. Okay.
keep going?
No, Alcatraz, I don't think I will. That is going to be it for me, because holy shit am I tired. It has been real enjoyable, and I hope you stop by tomorrow for more, but that is it for me. Hope you have a good rest of your day.